My name is Elaine. Thank you for having me. Ever think what is needed to keep your car running? I know most people just think about it as something as you just keep spending money. We spend so much money into our cars for car washes, gas, tires, and brakes, and etc. Sometimes you have to think long term rather than think how much money you are spending at the moment. For a lot of people, getting an oil change isn't that important. They only do it when someone tells them to, or maybe when their light goes off. Just think, when is the last time you got an oil change? Getting an oil change can give your car a better lifetime span. Why waste money on getting a new car if you don't have to? Today I would like to share some of the great facts why you should get an oil change and you should get it regular. I want you to know the importance of it, in which I will talk to you in some main points. The first main point is, what are the benefits of getting an oil change? Secondly, what happens if you don't get an oil change? So, what exactly is an oil change and what does it do for your car? So, let's plan ahead so we don't wear down your car. Let's talk about why you should get an oil change and the important benefits of getting one. Take into consideration why you should get an oil change. Most people are not likely to think like this. It is a regular thing you should do, and maybe many people do not. From my knowledge, we will get into more detail about that later. Just know it is extremely important. Let me start off telling you about some great benefits by getting an oil change by this article I read. This article is by Jason. According to his article, it was published by the Leaf Group. He quoted saying, "Oil changes help to keep the car engines clean and running smoothly. As the engine operates, wears, and derps particle flakes off various internal engine parts and enters the car oil. Regular changes on an oil car eliminates these particles and ensures that the engine is batched and lubricated with clean, quality motor oil." In this article, he also explains that your car will run much smoother, and you will also get better gas mileages, and your engine will perform way better. For me, benefits of getting oil changes are good because it does so much good for your engine. I know myself from experience that it can change the maintenance on your car that you need over time. I know if you don't get oil change regularly, it can lead to many problems in the long run. Have you ever got an oil change and noticed how smooth your car is after driving? I sure have. Let's get more into the benefits about getting an oil change. I have read many articles and benefits of oil change, but this article has caught my attention. This article has gave good advice by Joanne, published in 2019 of February by the Car Life Nation. A quote from this article is, "We love our vehicles, and one way to ensure they are running is to optimize the potential in the schedule regular oil change every month. Our schedules are packed, and taking your vehicle in for an oil change might be the last thing on your mind. However, if you don't properly maintain your car with regular oil changes, your engine will start to exhibit engine issues. When your engine is compounded and not properly lubricated with fresh oil, the engine can become too hot and parts get warped. That's not good for your car, and it won't run efficiently, costing you more money in the long run." In this article, it makes it very easy to understand that if you don't do it, later you will end up spending more money and you won't be happy. This should be a great benefit for you to get regular oil changes on monthly basis when it's needed. Usually it's typically like every 3 months or so many miles, depending on the base of your car, whether it's new or old. And if you're not sure, there's people that will help you, mechanics. In this article, it also states that some places you don't even need to appointment because they have drive-up oil changes now. From my experience, I have done the drive-through oil changes when I don't have time to go to the dealership. It is a little bit more costly, but it gets the job done. From my experience, they do inspection points, they check the tires, they check fluids, they do a lot of things. In this article, there was a good point about making oil changes because they do free complimentary inspections, as I said, and other things that your car may need, they will let you know. And if you don't get an oil change, you won't never know. Something else they also stated in this article was they also do, some places like dealerships, they do give free snacks and drinks. Who doesn't like free? So what happens if you don't get an oil change? According to an article by Will published in 2016 by the U.S. News and World News, what happens if you don't get an oil change? A quote from his article: oil will break down over time due to temperatures in the engine, known as thermal breakdown. Because of the oil isn't capable of providing the necessary lubrication for the metal parts extended period of time. Without lubrication, the moving joints in the engine will start rubbing against each other and cause premature wear. Oil has a limited capacity on the particles it can hold. By not changing the oil, the particles already in the oil will have to settle and cause corrosion. One of the biggest dangers of your car changing your oil is sludge buildup. Sludge occurs when the oil begins to gel and solidify in the engine. When sludge begins to build, the oil isn't able to flow freely through the engine and can cause starvation. In worse situations require an engine replacement or rebuild. I think this article gives good reference because it breaks down for you what can happen. From quotation, I believe this is a good enough information to persuade you on the importance of getting an oil change. Another article I had came across written by Mosbis also explained the downfalls of not getting an oil change. A quotation of this article is, if you don't think you have time or money to get an oil change, you choose to wait, eventually the oil will get worse and worse, becoming more likely to sludge and clog your engine. Engines are expensive to clean, and replacing worn out portions is not an auto repair bill you want to receive. Bottom line, it's worth the time and minimal cost of maintenance. I believe this is a good point because the article states you don't want to waste your money and time because our time is valuable. But in the long run, you will waste more time. Which is true. I believe more people will can end up preventing this. Overall, if you haven't got an oil change in the past months, I think it's time you get one. Oil changes is one of the keys to making your car engine last longer. I can go on and why you should get an oil change, but I think you got the point on to get one now. Hopefully I gave you enough information about oil changes. It's like fuel in your body. If you don't eat, you won't have the energy. So if your car doesn't have the proper oil, it's not going to work right. Personally, I think oil change is very important, especially if you're a person to travel like me. I'm always on top of it to prevent me from breaking down on the road because they also check my tires and also they check my fluids, and that's very beneficial to me being on the road. A oil change isn't something we commonly think about. That is, we don't think is very important, but it is needed for your car. You don't want to end up working so hard for your car and having to do unnecessary work on your car, or even having to get another car. Example, I had a friend, she had a decent car, no car payment, and her light went off. Unfortunately, it was too late and she had to get a new car. This could have been prevented just by getting a simple oil change. So, in conclusion, I would think twice and go get that oil change. Thank you.